away from the bees as they can. So if you go to the outside and place that, remember the bee space? Well, I don't think we've talked about that. Bees naturally have a bee space of 1/4 inch to 3/8. In other words, if it's under 1/4 inch, they put purpose out there. If it's over 3/8, they work on it. So always remember that. Keep your frames good and tight. And if you use a better beetle blaster to get it set correctly, if you'll keep this end good and tight, go to this end of the hive, slide it up, push this over, that trap will set flat. Now it creates a ramp for the beetles to run up in, and they're going to drop down in thinking they're getting away from the beetles. But in reality, they're going to death. And if you get it too tight, what's going to happen is it's going to be up off of it, over exaggeration, and the beetles will get under it, and the bees can't get to them. And so, by understanding the bee space, by keeping it good and tight down here, you don't change it. And if you're using, talking about bee space, in your honey supers, comment was made earlier about 9 frames in a 10-frame hive. The first year, we're talking about foundation-wise, and if you're using 10 frames for a honey super, let them draw out the foundation the first year. Never spread them apart. What are we doing? We're increasing the bee space. You're going to have a lot of problems. So if you learn to keep them pushed tight, then after the first year, when they've got that foundation drawn out already, then spread them apart. Kind of over-exaggerating here, but spread them apart. They'll draw that cone out, and it makes it easier to uncap. And so it's a very effective way of making it easy to get your honey out. If you're extracting, honey gets everywhere. We found that if you lay a tarp, go to Lowe's, Home Depot, someplace like that, get you one of the little blue tarps, duct tape it down, put your equipment up in there, and then when you go to clean up, your flat or your honey is all on that tarp. Just pull the tape up, take it outside, lay it out in the sun, the bees will clean it all up. They waste nothing. They're very conservative creatures. And if you take your capping wax, you can run it through an extractor, you'll get some of it. But we'll take it and scatter it out on a tarp or a piece of cardboard, really what we use, big cardboard. Let them go through it and they'll suck it dry. Because they're very conservative little creatures. The use of guard star will, if you're into chemical end, you put it around the hive, and that will take them, keep them from pupating. But it's, I've seen the effects that they sense that chemical in the ground, they'll crawl outside of that ring that you sprayed, and they'll bury in the ground just outside of it. And also the checkmate plus strips are said to keep the hive beetles out of the hive. Of course, raising the pH of the soil will help and move your hives out into sun, full sun, at least 3:30 in the evening. And that way it will keep the hive beetles out of your hive. And if I'm talking too fast, just let me know, because I've got a lot of stuff I'd like to tell you, but don't be afraid to ask questions. The only dumb question is the one that you don't ask, because that question will cost you $2. So I encourage you to ask questions. The next thing, this is the only thing we had growing up was wax moth, and it was a result of the queen not being a good queen or killing the queen or what have you. And the way you tell you have wax moth, you'll have tone in the bottom of the cone. And it will be kind of like a mole. You know how mole hills are? It's approximately the same, but it's in the bottom, right on top of the wax foundation. We got a PowerPoint presentation that shows all that, but we're not set up for that here. And as it progresses, gets worse, you will find it has silken trails all across it. It'll be kind of like a little webbing. And then you'll start seeing excrements on it. It's a little bitty brown, blackish specks. about the size of a pencil point. And the reason a lot of people go to plastic is because with hive beetles, wax moths, they will lay a cocoon and can actually eat into the frame. As that cocoon lays there, will chew into the frame and destroy a frame. So the commercial beekeepers, because they're constantly moving their bees, they need something that if they did throw a box up on the back of the truck and kill the queen, they're not going to know it until it's too late and they've already got wax moths. So instead of losing the investment of the frame and the wax, they went to all wax frames with the wax plastic centers and plastic frames. So the wax moths have no effect on them. So they can just take the hive tool, scrape that wax off down to the plastic, and pressure wash it, throw it back in another hive, and be on their way. But I'm against it because being down south here, all petroleum-based products eventually will outgas and heat. It's just a matter of time. The bees have a hard enough time. If you've ever used it, even coating it, sometimes they won't do it. I've seen them where they will draw out off the edge of this top of the bar right here and draw a frame, a cone parallel to the plastic. So it can be kind of tricky to get them to draw out plastic. But that's the reason why they came out with plastic, is because of the commercial beekeeper and the loss of the queens. So treatment is you would remove the frames, and if they have the tunnels in it, you can place them in the deep freezer for 48 hours. It will kill that wax moth. If you've got a good deep freezer, bring it down about 5 degrees. And then you can take that frame. I always like to take a rag of 10% solution of bleach water and wipe down all the wooden parts. And what that does, it helps get rid of the wax moth pheromone, the smell of the wax moth, so it doesn't attract other wax moths. And then you can put that cone into a strong colony. And of course you have to let it dry. And something about the sun, that's really amazing how it can kill bacteria. It's truly amazing, and a lot of smells and stuff. By having it out in the sun will also help remove the wax moth smell. The things that are really bad, that has the silken trails all over it and just really have holes in them, it's best to take your hive tool, pop your wedge bar if you're using that, and take the wax, cut it out, and melt it down. So try to salvage the wax as much as you can. And to save the bees, you can take and locate the old queen because she's got some issues there. She's not laying, whether you rolled her, and she still may have good strong pheromones, but because you rolled her, it's damaged her ovaries. And so she's not going to be able to lay. So you need to find the old queen, kill her, and take you an empty box, but take your hive and set a piece of newspaper on top of a good strong colony. Take you a knife or your hive tool and cut that paper 3 or 4 strips down through there. Set you an empty box on top, and then shake all the bees off of the frames. And remember, if you turn it upside down, the one's got her head stuck in that sail. It's now pointing downward, and you do this just like that. That's not going to hurt them. They fall out. Or you can use bee brush. As long as you're brushing downwards instead of up like this and brush down, you're going to break the backs and make them mad. And then combine the colony, and they'll all get along by doing it that way. And the easiest in the treatment is preventative. Keep a good strong colony, keep your eye on the queen. If you do get wax moths, take your boxes off, wash them all down in 10% solution of bleach water, set them out in the sun to dry, and say that to store your wax, to keep the bees, the wax moths from eating your wax, you need to take and store them either on called mothing. It's a kind of like moth bulbs for bees. Don't use moth bulbs that you get from the store. That will wax and hurt. I don't use it. The way we store ours, we take ours and just turn them up on the edge like this. And so it will allow light through, and wax moths need darkness. So that's a good way of stacking your boxes up, let the light flow through it. Of course, you need to protect it from the raccoons and what have you. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can call us at Wolf Creek after dark, and we generally walk you through whatever you might have. We made nothing.
Let's give John a hand.